So Drake started his Iceman rollout a few days ago, and I wanted to talk about why it's hard for people to let go. And I also wanted to talk about in the long run, will this approach work for Drake, or could this be the beginning of another series of bad decisions? So I'm sure many of you have seen, if you haven't, a few days ago Drake put out it's kind of like a cross between like a live stream and a hype video slash trailer for his Iceman album that's going to be dropping in the near future, I assume. And it was interesting to kind of watch. I thought it was very interesting to take note of the fact that I don't remember the last time Drake has put that much effort into any sort of promotional material for an album. He's been coasting, but I mean, the song itself, like one of the songs that were teased was the song "What Did I Miss," which I thought it was an okay song. But at the same time, it didn't sound super inspired, and I'm gonna get to that later. Make sure you guys watch the whole video, but it didn't sound all that inspiring. However, I still was interested to kind of see Drake try to attack this sort of streaming format because, as everybody knows, Drake has kind of tried to affiliate with streamers over the years, whether it's Ninja or whether it's kind of getting cool with guys like Kai Cenat, whoever. But seeing Drake and his team do this well produced, I don't want to say mostly well produced streaming effort on this whole Iceman gimmick with the showing Drake cosplaying as or acting as somebody who works in like a warehouse or something, driving a box truck. But the part that caught most people's attention was simply the fact that Drake seemingly took shots at a few people. You could interpret it several different ways. I'm not here in this video to talk about who specifically he may have dissed. But what I do want to talk about is the fact that he clearly, and by he I mean Drake, he clearly has not let go of the situation, which it makes sense why Drake hasn't let go. Obviously, Drake is coming off of one of the biggest losses in hip hop history. Like, he got smoked. And not only did he get smoked, he didn't keep it competitive, which that's one thing I said when I put out videos critiquing what Drake could have done what Drake or his ghostwriters could have done differently to keep it more competitive. That way, even if he lost, it still kind of would have felt like a more competitive matchup. But at the end of the day, he didn't do it. He waved the white flag on the Heart Part 6. And the rest is history at that point. We know what happened after that, the pop out, the Super Bowl. And it's just essentially been 1.5 year long stretch of many people who hate Drake, as well as many people who hate anybody who's successful for long periods of time. They're essentially pissing on his grave, which I mean, I feel indifferent about the situation because, number one, I don't know any of these people involved. But also, number two, Drake has done people wrong in the past. So, I mean, I'm not going to cry tears for a billionaire who may have seen the end of his career, possibly. It is what it is. But it is still interesting to see, even in the case of somebody at the level of Drake, struggle with the idea of trying to let something go. Because when you're still taking shots and referencing that extremely disastrous event that happened with the whole beef heard around the world last year, in my opinion, it puts you in a spot where you can reopen that wound, not only in people's minds to where people can start making jokes about you again, but also if Kendrick or somebody from that camp decides they want to just take more shots at you again. You're talking as if you want to double back. Now, if they double back, it could become worse for you all over again. I don't think that's the way to go, especially in this specific situation. I think he really should have taken the approach of acting like this never happened. I know that might sound kind of crazy to some people because some people think that you should do something to acknowledge it. But at this point, what is he gonna do? Like, what is he realistically gonna do? For the past year and a half, people have been singing a song that's accusing him of being a pedophile, even though there's no concrete evidence that he is out here fucking kids. It is what it is. Like, there's nothing he could do to somehow flip the narrative and make himself look better. So in my opinion, I think it would be better to just move on like it never happened and try to focus on the future. But Drake, when you look at Drake's moves, a lot of these moves seem like he's trying too hard to hold on to something that is clearly hurting him, that he doesn't want to let go. So you see him do things like file this lawsuit against UMG, as well as make mentions of the pop out on What Did I Miss? And it's like, bro, no matter which way you slice it, I mean, you got humiliated. It is what it is. Like, I personally, that's just me. I don't see the point in trying to drag this out and bring this back up. But at the same time, when it comes to human psychology, for many people, it can be very tough to let go of traumatic events, especially if from your perspective, you feel like you was done wrong in some way. Again, I'm not saying Drake is a sympathetic figure or anything like that, but in his mind, he probably thinks he is. Just like how in your day-to-day life, you may think you are when somebody does you wrong. And it can be hard sometimes to let that go, especially if you feel like part of what went wrong was people that you may have been cool with or you may have looked out for in the past. They seemingly have decided to turn their back on you and kick your back in when they saw that you were down. Again, is that really the case with Drake? I don't necessarily think so, because Drake takes shots at many people. So, but either way, I'm just trying to dive a little bit into the mindset of what can make somebody like Drake not want to let something go. But as far as this approach of bringing it back up in the long term, I don't think it's going to work, especially when right now his only goal should be to try to, with his back against the wall, put out his best body of work possible. Like, when Jay-Z lost to Nas, he had to come through with the Black Album. Now, I don't think the Black Album was Jay-Z's best album, but it's still a great album. It's still a classic. It still was him with his back against the wall, really taking it up a notch. In the case of Drake, the song What Did I Miss? It's decent, but like, it's cool, but I don't know if he, like, it doesn't feel like something it doesn't feel like something that goes hard enough to actually put Drake in a spot where people are going to be confident that Drake is about to put out his best body of work. Because again, in order to make people forget about this, in my opinion, you should, number one, move on, don't acknowledge it again, act like it never happened, which would require him to let it go. And then number two, it would be, hey, you got to put out the best body of work that you've ever put out by far. Like, again, in the case of Jay-Z, he had to put out the Black Album, and Jay-Z's loss to Nas isn't even half as bad as Drake's loss to Kendrick. But that's just my thoughts, man. I'm out.